From Denver 7, this is 7 News.
And if you're traveling this holiday season, will you take your pet with you? The things you should know to help make your trip a little less stressful. Still to come on 7 News Sunday morning. If you travel with your pets, expert advice on what you can do to create a stress-free trip for you and your pet. The holidays are a time when many of us are traveling to visit family, and some of you might be traveling with your pets. Others will be leaving their pets behind in the care of a kennel or trusted friends. And before you start on a trip, there are some things that you should know that can really help ease the process. Joining me now to talk all about it is veterinarian Dr. Sam Lane from Deer Creek Animal Hospital in Littleton. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, let's first talk about if you're traveling with your pet for the holidays. What types of precautions should you take?
Well, I think there's a number of things that you want to keep in mind when you're traveling with your pet. First off, you should visit with your veterinarian, okay? So there's a number of things that you'd want to ask your veterinarian. Are we up to date on shots?
Right.
The part of the country that I'm going to, is there anything that's needed for there? For example, if you're going to Florida, there's a lot of fleas and ticks there. You probably want some sort of preventative for down there, not to mention heartworm prevention, that sort of thing. And also when you're traveling, especially by plane, you're going to need a health certificate as well. And so they're going to fill out a health certificate that you can give to the airlines as you board. Then the other two things I think that are very important is you're going to be worried about the safety of your pet and just making sure your pet's comfortable.
Absolutely.
And I brought a number of things with me to show us examples of what we can do to do just that.
And that's where we're going to go next. So why don't you walk us through some of the things you brought with us that people might want to take with them on their trips to make it a little bit easier on their pets and themselves.
Absolutely. So a few things. So a number of people will be traveling by car and by plane. But one thing that's really nice is a collapsible water bowl to have with you. Okay, because it's a nice thing to travel with. It's obviously convenient, and obviously these guys need water.
Right. And you can pour from the water bottle into that. You don't have to have you know, an extra Tupperware container.
Exactly.
Easy to carry.
Exactly. Other things. Now, if you're traveling by car, this is a really neat thing that pet stores will sell. The Green Paw and Golden, I know, sells this. This is a seat belt that you can use for your dog, so keeping them safe while they're driving in the car.
Now, it's a vehicle safety harness.
Exactly.
Does that really bother them in a lot of ways?
You know,
do you think if you're going on a long trip?
Yeah, so they do very well, and it's actually padded very nicely. They can move around in the car, they can lie down, they can sit up, they can look out the window.
Not your typical seatbelt.
Right, exactly, exactly.
Right.
So you probably don't want your infant in a seatbelt like that, but your dog, I think, is at least being a little more safe than just running around in the back seat.
And speaking of safety, I see you also have a first aid kit there.
I do.
Is there something special we should put in that for our pets?
You know, a basic first aid kit, and it's pretty similar in pets as it is in people, but the things that you're going to probably want to have with you is there's some bandage materials that we bring out, scissors to help certainly cut the bandage materials, tweezers if you get a splinter or something along those lines. But you know, the real important thing with your first aid kit is having a card with important numbers on it. Okay. So for your veterinarian or a veterinarian where you're going, not to mention things like poison control, because these guys can, and especially this time of year, get into things that can be toxic to them, and you'd want to contact some professionals to know exactly what to do. Right,
and if you need to get any medication. And are there some things you can give your pet if they get really nervous traveling either in a car or a plane?
And that's about keeping them happy and calm. So one thing we recommend trying initially is try some of the herbal remedies that are out there. There's a lot of good ones. I brought some examples of some. These are really nice. These are a treat that you can give to your pet that have a calming aspect to them, and so that's something that you can give them. Also, there's some herbal remedies. This is Sleepy Time, Rescue Remedy, and Pro-Calm is also another one that we've found that works well. And those are things that you probably want to test out first with your animal and just make sure that they respond to that. And some guys are going to need something a little bit more, and so you can go to your veterinarian and discuss that and potentially get a prescription for that.
Just depends on the pet.
You got it.
All right, Dr. Sam Lane, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Really nice to meet you. Thank you for bringing along your great dog, Morgan.
She's done great.
8-year-old golden retriever. What a beauty. She's turning the other way, looking up at you lovingly. Again, thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much.
It is going to be a good day to get out for a walk with the dog. We say it so often, Richard, but today is just perfect weather.
It is. And let me ask the good doctor a question here. So I know we're coming up on the holiday. A lot of folks are going to be backcountry skiing. They're going to be snowshoeing. What are some of the concerns that we want to deal with in terms of that and keeping our dogs safe on the trail in the winter weather that we're dealing with?
Well, still, having a first aid kit with you is wonderful. Even, again, the collapsible water bowl is a fantastic thing to have out there. They got to stay hydrated. This is a time they can get dehydrated as well out there, even though it's cold. So you want to make sure that you're prepared for that.
Good advice.
Oh, cool. Well, hey, sorry, I didn't mean to throw you for a loop. Just had a question.
Sure.
So,
free advice for Richard.
That's right. You got to take it when you can get it. You know what I mean?